If you haven't had an opportunity to watch the latest episode of Ascension, stop listening now. Major spoilers, here we go. Tonight is night 2. And by far one of the best episodes of the series so far. I mean, it's only a 3-night event. I think pretty much total there's 6 episodes. But what they're doing is they're putting these episodes, packing them in to a 2-hour event, and that's what they're calling it. But I'm happy. I'm definitely happy. Tonight we got some backstory. Tonight we get introduced to how do you want to say it, a previously undisclosed location called Deck 23. We got some more insight into the crisis. We got some more insight into who or what Krista is, the little girl that's on the show. We also got a really good look at the power struggle, the politics, and a nice little love story, all wrapped into one. And then we got bombs. Yeah, so last week, we had a murder. This week we got bombs and more murder. And I keep saying week because I feel like I guess so much time has passed by. But yesterday we got the murder, and then tonight we got the bombs, man. So once again, this is a non-conventional review. I'm just going to flip and flop around and go wherever it takes me, okay? So Deck 23, let's start there because that's the most interesting for me, I believe. Deck 23 is a location on the ship on Ascension that something bad occurred there. And the character Galt, his parents died during an explosion on Deck 23. Deck 23, the reason why we went down there tonight is because they were looking for this character called Dwight, and Dwight was a possible murder suspect. And the murder suspect for Lorelei, he was hiding down there. Galt goes down there to check and investigate, and then we get introduced to the panic mode that the people on the outside, the people on the outside that are controlling this situation, this ant farm, this social experiment, they panic, okay? And it says, okay, Deck 23 situation, no necessary movement, no necessary sound, everybody just stay still, we'll try to get through this. In order to scare the 600 plus people on Ascension, they remove the air from the compartment. They remove the air from the outside room. They remove the air from Deck 23 because there's a small puncture, I guess you can say, and they take and they suck all the air out. And then once the coast is clear, and they give the all clear, they come back in, okay? But Galt, he goes down there. Before he opens up the door or gets near to the door or the location where he needs to get to, he sees this little rocket on the ground. It's burned to a crisp, almost like a napalm bomb exploded or something like that. And what ends up happening is that he has a flashback back to a launch day when, 51 years ago. And he's a young boy. His mother and father are not seen in this scene, but we just hear later on, from the commentary, from the guys that are on the outside, especially Ensman. He's saying, Galt's parents had died, they got killed. And then we see Ophelia. She runs up as this door opens up and there's fire. Coming through it, like maybe in a gas explosion, something, okay? And her face gets burned. So we find out why or how Ophelia's character, how her face got burned, and that was on launch day. And she was the one that saved Galt, and their relationship became like a mother and son. And later on in the episode, she ends up getting injured because Krista doesn't want to take her vaccination because she is having dreams, which are really reality, of someone putting poison inside of the vaccinations and trying to harm her. And in order to kind of calm Krista down, Ophelia, she gets in front of Krista. She's like, look, it's okay. The vaccines are okay. You don't have to panic. Here, I'll take it for you. So she takes Krista's vaccination, and then she ends up, inside of the emergency room, ER, almost almost dying. They blame it on the allergic reaction. The people that are inside of the experiment, they think it's allergic reaction, but the people on the outside, they're not going to call it what it is. We get introduced, and that's a good segue. We get introduced to this character called Samantha, who was hired by director Warren, Catherine Warren, and she is a spy that is spying on Innsman. She's spying on his team, and I'm not gonna lie, man, it's kind of cool because you kind of feel, as the viewer, depending on, I guess, what side you are on this, you feel as if Samantha is the one that is there for you, the viewer. She's trying to find out the truth. So you want to see her on the screen the most because she's going to get to the bottom line. Okay, we get this conspiracy theory. And this is what I say, man. In my last podcast, my first podcast for night one, the show is going to open up a conversation. There are conspiracy theories now. And there's a conspiracy theory group, and it's called 63/70. And that is the 63/70, 63 out of the 70 people, okay? So some of the people had disappeared back before launch date. Somehow they got out or something. But there's a conspiracy theory there, and there's people that are trying to solve the riddle of Ascension here in our reality and not inside of the ant farm. We found out tonight that Innsman has a person inside of Ascension. Okay, so let me kind of explain that real quick. On day one yesterday, we saw that Krista, she took off her sleeping gas mask during the radiation scene, and she witnessed no, I'm not going to go there. She witnessed someone inside of a chemical suit. I guess like the ones off of Breaking Bad, but I'm not going to go there. Like I said, I'm not going to go into what that means, but a chemical suit that was stealing the seahorse necklace. And and now we understand how that all works out, man. There's somebody inside. Innsman is using someone to do things on the inside. We don't know if that's going to be murdering someone. We don't know how that's going to work out, but check this out, man. This is where it's going to get creepy, guys. Innsman is in love with the ship's doctor, Juliet Bryce. Innsman, his guy that was inside of the ship, steals the seahorse necklace. That's the seahorse necklace that Krista saw the guy. Her mother doesn't believe her. Nobody believes her. But tonight, Innsman gives his wife in reality, inside of, out of Ascension, the dude that's watching it, the boss of Ascension, the overseer, he gives the seahorse necklace to his wife in real life. And they make love while she's wearing the seahorse necklace. Now check this out. Innsman actually insists, keep the necklace on. So, I mean, it's so creepy, man. And he says this, he says, I feel like I've been watching Bryce for so long. I feel like I know her. I feel like I know her and I love her, and I feel like I know her better than I know my wife. That's how creepy this thing is, man. It's ridiculously strange, man. There's politics and a power struggle between the councilmen and Councilman Rose and a few of the other people that are on the ship. Now, if you watched Firefly, then you'll kind of realize that people like Jackie and certain other people that are how do you want to say it, that are running the show, they are the prostitutes on the show, okay? And it's just like Firefly with that sort of thing. The women that bring pleasure to the men, or the women, the men or the women that are in power. Anyway, the women that bring pleasure to the people in power, they learn certain things, and that knowledge is now currency. It's the money which they make their living on. So the prostitution is and I think it's like really not prostitution, but I mean, I guess it is, but it's more like geishas and ladies of the evening, but I guess mostly massages and stuff like that. But we know what they get down to also because we've seen it tonight. So I guess they are prostitutes. But anyway, all of that money and which is knowledge is being used to keep certain people in certain classes, you know, like the upper deck will stay the upper deck, the lower deck will stay the lower deck, and that's how this thing is working out. I'm going to stop this podcast and we'll go to the next one. The next one, the part 2 is going to be the end of this podcast for tonight's episode. But yeah, thanks again for listening, guys. We're out of time, man.